Batman Incorporated number 12 resumes after the brief interlude of the previous issue. Batman, wearing a cutting-edge exoskeleton, the Suit of Sorrows, and enhanced by the Man-Bat serum, flies savagely at the Leviathan and Heretic. The Leviathan, Talia al Ghul, orders her armies to make him stop. As Batman flies in, he engages the Heretic, his son's murderer. They clash up and down the streets of Gotham. We get to see Batman use some new gadgets like invisibility and electrified gauntlets. The Heretic has some tricks of his own though, including a jetpack. The back and forth battle is one of Batman's most brutal fights. Meanwhile, Nightwing and Red Robin finally catch up to Wingman. The new Knight, formerly known as Beryl, is already on the scene with her new partner Ranger. It turns out Jason was apprehended by the international spy group, Spiral. Their mysterious leader tells the group that Spiral can handle the Leviathan's organization on a global level, but they need Batman Incorporated to stop Talia from detonating the Ouroboros ring. Nightwing notes that the headmistress of Spiral seems familiar to her. She responds by commenting on how much he has grown. Nightwing and Knight then head to the Wayne Enterprises building. Batman is currently fighting the Heretic there and seems to have gained the upper hand. Together, Nightwing and Knight smash open the Heretic's helmet. When Batman goes in to finish the job, he sees the face of Damian. Although the Heretic is simply another clone of his son, the image is enough to stop Batman from going too far. The Heretic uses Batman's hesitation to retreat to his mother, Talia. She rewards his failure by slicing off his head. Talia then tells her henchmen to move the plan into the final stage and prepare to detonate the Ouroboros ring. The issue ends with Talia entering the Batcave where Batman is waiting for her. She expected him to be there and declares that this is going to be a fight to the death.
So, a final showdown between the two. Are you excited?
I definitely am. I love how she just says, "To the death, my detective." Obviously, Batman's not going to die, but do you think there's any chance Talia dies?
I think it would be a little bit more of a conclusive ending if Talia actually dies. And maybe it'll give Batman a little bit more closure towards Damian's death. Either way, even if she does die, I don't think that death is going to be one that lasts.
Yeah, but I don't see Batman killing her because that'd be kind of crossing the line he never crosses. So maybe she'll, fall down some dark hole of the Batcave just like the Joker did.
It seems that Batman's enemies get defeated and then someone else or some random chance kills them. Just like in this issue, he defeats the Leviathan, but he's not the one that actually kills him.
Jumping back to the Heretic, though, he finally meets his end in this issue. What did you think of that entire fight?
The fight was pretty drawn out, and it needed to be because, one, the emotion had been building for so many issues now, and Batman was clearly really enraged, and he goes at him with, so much. But the Heretic put up a really good fight considering how much Batman had on his side.
What kind of surprised me is, Batman using the Man-Bat serum and the exoskeleton and the Suit of Sorrows. It's just classic Batman where he always has another gadget that you've, never heard of. But the exoskeleton made him invisible. That seems like the sort of thing you should be using all the time.
Yeah, I thought that was actually kind of cheap that Batman doesn't even really go at him with a straight-up fight. Even with all this stuff with him, he doesn't go straight up. He always, he always has to go for the upper hand.
One of the real turning points was when Nightwing and Beryl, who's now Knight, they actually shatter the Heretic's helmet, and we see that it's actually the face of Damian.
I actually really like that scene because, Batman's beating on this guy who he sees as the killer of his son, but in a way, this is also his son, and so there's a lot of conflicting emotions, I'm sure, and I thought it was really neat to just see that one panel of Damian's face.
As soon as Bruce saw Damian's face, I think that's what kind of stopped him, kept him from killing the Heretic. And the Heretic had just a tragic line where he said, sons are meant to die in war.
That's just how he's grown up, He's just grown up through just trials and having to fight his way to survive and really grow into this monster that Talia wants him to be. And so that's all he knows.
And I'm sure Talia overcompensated the whole time because she didn't want another Damian who basically abandoned her.
But then again, he also failed her, and she's completely cutthroat. And I actually really like that. I thought that was pretty badass.
Kind of switching gears, though, we saw Wingman and that organization who had captured him, which turned out to be Spiral.
I found it interesting that they're basically telling Batman Incorporated to step down. You guys aren't ready for the big leagues, which seems absurd to me because this is Batman you're talking about. You don't think Batman is prepared to do something on a global level?
She did say they needed Batman to get the trigger for the bombs. So that's a pretty important thing.
Still, I just felt that the fact that they were telling Batman Incorporated that you guys aren't really, you aren't in the know as much as we are, like saying that we know better, I think that's almost absurd. Who knows more than Batman? No one.
We'll see in the upcoming Trinity War if somebody knows better than Batman. But then we also got to see the supposed leader of Spiral, some woman, and her identity wasn't quite revealed, but Nightwing thought he knew who it was, and she said, "My, how you've grown." I'm thinking it might be Kathy Kane, the previous Batwoman.
That's as good of a guess as I've got. I'm really curious to know if that's going to be revealed next issue because we only have one more to go, and I hope all the loose ends are tied by then.
I think it would be good if it was her because that would kind of tie back to the first volume of Batman Incorporated because I think the current Batwoman, also named Kate Kane, was searching for her predecessor. So that's, I guess, where I'm making that guess from. But as a grade for Batman Incorporated number 12, what would you give it?
I'd give this issue a 3 out of 5, and I think my main problem is that I don't think Chris Burnham's art is suited to a very emotional, action-packed issue. I feel if it was a different artist, I might have enjoyed it more, but I'm still looking forward to the conclusion.
I'd give Batman Incorporated number 12 a 3.5. So much happened in this issue, and Morrison had to pack in so much, maybe too much. There just was no real clear direction, but regardless, I'm still really looking forward to the final issue.
Thanks for watching B3 Comics' review of Batman Incorporated number 12. Before we go, we have a question for you.
We want to know what you guys think would be a fitting ending to Grant Morrison's Batman Incorporated. Feel free to leave your responses in the comments below.
Sometimes it's difficult for us to respond to everything on YouTube, but if you reach out to us on Facebook or Twitter, we'll try to respond to as much as possible.
Thanks for watching.